The town of Ravenswood was nestled at the foot of a dense, ancient forest. Among the towering trees and fog-draped hills, there stood an imposing mansion known as Blackwood Manor. Its ominous silhouette dominated the landscape, casting a long, eerie shadow over the town. Locals whispered stories of the mansion's dark history, and most believed it to be haunted. Blackwood Manor had stood for centuries, its origins shrouded in mystery. It had changed hands over the years, passing from one generation to the next, each one more secretive and reclusive than the last. The stories of its occupants were tinged with tragedy, with tales of mysterious disappearances, inexplicable accidents, and a string of unsettling occurrences. Nina Evans, a young and ambitious journalist, had recently moved to Ravenswood. Her fascination with the supernatural had led her to the town, and she was eager to investigate the legends surrounding Blackwood Manor. She believed that uncovering the truth about the mansion could be her breakthrough story. One crisp autumn morning, Nina decided to visit the mansion. She parked her car along the narrow, winding road that led to the estate. As she approached the looming gates, the air grew heavy and cold, and she couldn't help but shiver. The mansion's facade, with its ivy-covered walls and twisted wrought iron gates, exuded an eerie charm that both drew her in and sent chills down her spine. Nina took her first steps into the grand entrance hall, where cobwebs hung like draperies and an air of abandonment permeated the space. The once grand chandeliers that adorned the ceiling were covered in dust, their crystals dulled by time. A haunting hush seemed to hang in the air. She navigated her way through the dimly lit corridors, her footsteps echoing in the emptiness. The mansion was a labyrinth of forgotten rooms, and she explored each one, her curiosity leading her deeper into the enigma of Blackwood Manor. In one room, a decrepit piano sat in a corner, its keys yellowed with age. As she approached, a haunting melody filled the air, the keys playing of their own accord. The music was melancholic and ethereal, and the source of the eerie tunes remained hidden. Nina felt an unseen presence in the room, a soft whisper that seemed to dance on the edges of her consciousness. She realized she was not alone, and a shiver ran down her spine. A shadowy figure appeared before her, its features obscured, and its voice was barely audible as it uttered cryptic words. "Leave this place, for the past cannot be undone," it murmured, its voice filled with sorrow. Nina stumbled back, retreating from the room, but the haunting melody and the whispering presence seemed to follow her. The mansion had come to life, its history and secrets awakening in her presence. Determined to uncover the truth, Nina continued her exploration. She came across a library filled with ancient books and dusty tomes. The shelves were lined with texts that seemed to date back centuries, each one holding a piece of the mansion's dark history. As she began to read, Nina discovered tales of tragedy, betrayal, and a cursed lineage that had plagued the mansion's occupants for generations. The stories spoke of a curse that bound the mansion, seeking retribution for a terrible deed committed in its past. The more she delved into the history, the more the mansion's malevolent aura seemed to envelop her. The walls of the library seemed to close in, and the ghostly figures of past inhabitants appeared, their faces etched with despair. Nina felt their anguish, their desire to communicate the horrors that had transpired within the mansion's walls. She knew that she had to uncover the truth, to bring to light the darkness that had festered for so long. She continued her search, coming across hidden passages and secret rooms. In the depths of the mansion, she found a chamber filled with portraits of the mansion's former occupants. Their faces were twisted with anguish, their eyes following her with a haunting intensity. Nina's investigation took her to the basement, a place where the darkness seemed to be at its most oppressive. The chamber was filled with relics of the past, strange symbols, and arcane artifacts. A sinister presence hung in the air, and as she stepped further into the room, the walls seemed to close in on her. A ghostly figure appeared before her, its eyes hollow and empty. It spoke in a voice that seemed to echo from the abyss, recounting the tale of the curse that had befallen Blackwood Manor. The figure revealed that the curse had been set in motion by a vengeful spirit, seeking retribution for the heinous crimes committed within the mansion's walls. Nina knew that she had to break the curse, to bring peace to the tormented spirits that lingered within the mansion. She began to research ancient rituals and incantations, hoping to find a way to free the mansion from its malevolent past. With the help of a local historian, she uncovered the key to breaking the curse, a ritual that required her to confront the spirit that had set the curse in motion. Armed with this knowledge, she returned to Blackwood Manor, determined to complete the ritual and bring an end to the darkness that had plagued the mansion for centuries. As she stood in the basement, the eerie symbols glowing with an otherworldly light, the vengeful spirit materialized before her. It was a figure wreathed in shadow, its eyes burning with malevolence. Nina recited the incantation, her voice trembling but resolute. The spirit howled in agony as the curse that had bound it to the mansion began to unravel. The walls seemed to shake, and the malevolent presence that had haunted Blackwood Manor for so long dissipated. The mansion fell silent, and the ghostly figures that had haunted its halls vanished. Blackwood Manor was no longer a place of darkness and despair, but a mere reflection of its former self, devoid of the curse that had imprisoned it for centuries. Nina emerged from the basement, the weight of the mansion's history lifted from her shoulders. She knew that she had freed the tormented spirits, and the mansion had found a new, peaceful existence. The town of Ravenswood breathed a sigh of relief as the malevolent aura that had surrounded the mansion for generations dissipated. Blackwood Manor was no longer a place of fear and dread, but a symbol of a history reclaimed. As Nina left the mansion behind, she couldn't help but feel a sense of closure. She had uncovered the truth behind the haunted mansion, and in doing so, she had released it from the darkness that had imprisoned it for so long. The whispers of Blackwood Manor had finally fallen silent, its secrets laid bare for the world to see.